Alright, I know that there's no one watching at the moment, but I'll just continue. I'll just go like this. Um, so, um, Prestige time once again this week on Sunday, like always. And like you see, this week we have Great Britain. A great track for overtaking, a historical track as well. In terms of, well, Great Britain, Silverstone was the first track to ever be hosted, to have ever hosted an F1, an official F1 race in the 1950s. And of course, since that, it has evolved a lot to the layout that we're all known to be known today. And yeah, very good track for overtaking, for action. On this game, there's a bit of DRS training, but pretty much that's on every single track besides like Monaco, Singapore. Those really the tracks. And yeah, quite not that many people today, unfortunately. Reggie as well in. Not the usual face that you would see. Um, so let's go into the standings. So, after Baku, actually no, let's go to the race results. So, Haas have had a perfect weekend. Ruggie P1 with fastest lap and Marco P2 as well, and Ruggie got as well fastest lap. So pretty much a perfect weekend from Haas. Third, Tom from 13th. What a drive that was from Tom. Tsunami 4th. Good drive as well from him. DJ 5th. Jake 6th. Steps 7th from 16th. Niklas 8th. Brothers from 20th up at 9th. GP rounds off the top 10, and then it is Alfie, Anya, Rob, and Primrada who round off the people that actually finished the race, and then it is lastly Shaz, Ibrahim, Josephiles, Oli, and Martin who DNF'd from the Grand Prix. To the standings now, to the driver standings, with Ruggy's win and Tsunami's 4th position. Ruggy now leads the championship, 5 points clear of Tsunami. Ruggy with 60 points, Tsunami second with 55 points, and Marco, who got second, like I mentioned, is in third with 50 points. And they're pretty clear, the top 3 is pretty clear away from the rest of the pack. DJ in fourth with 28 points, Marco with 50. Tom, his podium place, third place awards shots him up to P5 at 26 points. Souza still in 6th with 25. Tig still with 25, as well as Rob. Jake 18 points, Shaz 18, Lossie 15, Olaf 15, Niklas. And then it pretty much goes Ibrahim 9, Pimrada 8, Steps 6, Brothers 6, Alfie 4, and GP 1 singular point. And then after that, it is drivers who have got 0 points on the board. After into the constructors, after the perfect weekend from Haas, it allows them to extend their championship lead by quite a lot, from like 5 points between them, or 4 points. Now it's 36 points between Haas and McLaren. Haas with 110 points, McLaren second with 74. Then, well, it is a bit of a cliff from other teams. So yeah, Haas 110, McLaren 74, and then it is Red Bull with in third with 43 points, Williams fourth with 38. They as well shot up quite high again with that well, podium place, and as well a few extra points by that was Niklas as well. Then VCarb, unfortunately, 1 point last week, demotes them to P5. Aston Martin 6, they got a good amount of points last week, so they are in 6 with 34. And then Ferrari and Alpine are on level on points with 33 points. Ferrari 7th, Alpine 8th. Alpine, those 8 points, crucial ones to be, well, 10 points behind Red Bull, who are in third. And then a massive cliff. And then, well, Mercedes 9th, 6 points. And then Sauber, like in real life, 10th with 0 points. Yeah. Yeah, they can. Shaz is not racing. And, okay, he's on a plane at the moment, damn. Well, yeah, then I guess Reggie for the top. But okay, yeah, I'll see. I guess I'll see then why you Reggie don't drive anymore. We'll see. Hopefully it's not gonna be too bad, but you know. And well, yeah, sprint race weekend as well. So we have sprint quali, short sprint quali, and short qualifying. So the time doesn't get burned, or burnt, whatever. Yeah, thanks, Reggie. Yeah, thanks. Ooh, well, that is gonna bring some excitement if the sprint is wet. That is gonna be interesting. But yeah, short quali. So that's we don't spend here like 3 hours racing, because then it's gonna be like the sprint quali is gonna take 25 minutes roughly, actually 30, and then the actual qualifying is gonna take like an hour then. So already 1.5 hours have gone there. It's actually the qualifying is gonna take longer than the race itself. So yeah, that's not really ideal. We don't want to be we don't want to be here till midnight from my point of view, because, well, yeah, 3 hours. Then that would be midnight for me, because I'm 2 hours ahead. So yeah, even with UK people, that would be 10 p.m., which not really the time that you would expect Prestige to end, usually at 9 p.m, but then all of a sudden 10 p.m, which some people, of course, are running with tight schedules, like after the race they have something. Some people, not everyone, but some people have tight schedules. Others going wide and stove. The Ferrari's doing something to tilt it. Second driver to start their lap, it's going to be GP, who is going to be the first one to start a lap in a Ferrari. Almost everyone on the mediums, well, pretty much everyone on the mediums that is out on track. GP through the first couple of corners, turn 1, 2, and into 3, and then into 4. And then going into the Wellington Straight, I believe it is Wellington Straight, and then into Brooklands, Luffield. I missed the first sector split. Then Woodcote. I might not remember these corner names. Of course, this is Cops. This is easy one. And then the next ones are Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. But yeah, some of these corner names I'll probably forget, and as well straight names, like these straights. I know that there is Wellington and Hangar Straight, but I just don't remember them, which way they went. GP 103, I believe I saw, 0.6 maybe I would guess that. Then into Stove, a bit sliding that. Going into Stove, and then into Vale Chicane. Nicely through here, and then final corner Club, and that is GP fastest, 27.268, tilted behind, 1.5 seconds behind him, 28.748, and actually Aris is faster than him, 28.418, which is quite surprising that actually Aris is faster than someone. Ruggy goes fastest, 26.957, Jake goes third, 27.334. Tsunami goes second, 27.049. He really needs to get every single point and every single advantage on Ruggy and Marco. I mean, fighting them is going to be difficult for Tsunami, but he just needs to do his best. It's like Lando fighting Max Verstappen. It's a bit... Well, if you would put them in equal machinery, then probably for Lando it would be... This would be the situation what in Lando would be. That would be pretty difficult to outscore Max, but you know. Marco goes fastest, 26.829, and this time actually he's a bit in front of his own teammate, but both of them have set the time on the mediums, and actually everyone has set their times on the mediums. So only Womax is still on the sauce, but he's still in the pits. Everyone is on the mediums. Tom as well, 7th, 27.730. Step 6, 27.658. That's pretty much for everyone for now, besides Bobby, who's going to go P4, 27.253. Just in front of GP, 15 thousandths in front of GP. And 2/10 behind Tsunami. Then it's going to be Peligua finishing their time, and he's going to go P10, 27.928. Aris starts another lap. Ibrahim goes up into P2, 26.888, splitting the two Haas drivers, which is pretty impressive from Ibrahim. So, yeah, I mean, the McLarens and the Haas's have been very quick. Ibrahim, I see the potential that he has, but sometimes he's just caught up in these incidents, unlucky incidents, and sometimes a bit stupid incidents. He has the pace, but sometimes he just caught up in those things for whatever reason. Marco, as we all know, his pace in qualifying is absolutely rapid. Then in the races, it's a bit. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is a bit bad, but most of the times it's still in the good side, like he can fight for the win. At the beginning of the season he was a bit unlucky, but now in Baku his best finish of the season in P2, so, and very close to his teammate, and within a second, I mean, so that is good confidence to have. That could bring back some confidence to him. Aris goes P8, 27.640. Aris is a bit cooking in here, actually. He is cooking a little bit in here. I mean, comparing Aris to like what we have seen him at the beginning of the season as well, this is a massive improvement for him. In a P8, where everyone has set their times on the mediums, and he has set their time on the old mediums. Pretty impressive at the moment from him. Probably, of course, some people could improve their times, but hey, at least if he gets out of, well, I mean, if Womax doesn't get out of, no wait, there's a short quality. If he is still in that close to the top 10, and by close I mean P12, if he's in P12, that is a massive improvement from him. That is massive improvement from him. Or at least, I don't know, for some reason he was cooking. He was absolutely cooking on that lap, and that was maybe a fluke. But at least for now, we'll say that he has improved a lot. Seems like it. Dragon, in the meantime, as well, has set a time of 27.693 to go up to P10. A lot of drivers, pretty much everyone, is going to go onto the softs now. First time, pretty much all for Delta. And you also have a lap on the board, so that if, well, you don't get caught out by maybe an invalidation. WOMAX coming out on track on the mediums, interestingly. Regine 14th, 28.632. I mean, no one on a flying lap at all. Closest one would be Steps on the softs. Then it would be Tom as well on the softs. Well, everyone is going to be on the softs besides, apparently, WOMAX. Everyone is going to be on the softs besides WOMAX. Mark as well, Bobby out. As well, Reggie out. Steps has started his lap, so let's go on an onboard with him. The sun is shining through turn 3 into turn 4 now. Bit sliding onto turn 4. I mean, you could think about to try and, well, pretty much abandon the lap, but he's still pushing. 61 thousandths up on his time through the first sector. Of course, major time loss through that turn 4, but it seems like he's still pushing. Okay, I might just put that tire thing off because we know that WOMAX is on the mediums and everyone else is going to be on the softs. Actually, I want to keep that on. Steps through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel. Second sector, how much is he going to improve? 3/10. 3/10 up on his time through the second sector, but that's natural improvement just because you have better tires. Of course, you're going to improve your pace. You're going to be a lot faster on the softs compared to the mediums. WOMAX has gone back into the pit, so everyone is out on track on the softs. Steps is going to finish his time, and it goes up to P5, 27.052. But that is the first driver to finish their time on the softs. There's still the rest, pretty much everyone besides WOMAX, to still finish their times on the softs. Tom, half a second up on his time through the first sector. Was that first sector actually? I want to see second sector now. How much is he improving? Okay, yeah, that could have been actually first sector. Second sector, 8/10 up on his time. That would put him, well, pretty much in front of Steps. Let's say that, in front of Steps and close to Ruggy. He could go provisional pole position, of course, for the sprints. There's, of course, everyone else going for the times, but at least he could have that provisional pole position set. And Tom goes provisional pole position, 26.790. Marco, 6.5 almost up on his time through the second sector. Ibrahim, 3 seconds through the first. Ruggy, we don't see. Tsunami just started his lap, it seems like it. He has a bit of slipstream, it seems like it, from an Aston Martin in front. One of the... that is Hudson going up to P2, 26.809 by Hudson. Marco absolutely obliterates his previous time, but Bobby goes up into P1 out of nowhere. Bobby, fastest provisional pole position, 26.059. I think Marco as well lost time through the third sector, but Bobby out of nowhere beating the quali merchants in qualifying. As of right now, there's still Ibrahim and Ruggy. Ibrahim, where can he go? P3, 26.368. Ruggy through the finish line, goes P1, 25.971. The first driver to go into 25s. There's still a few more drivers. GP goes P5, 26.551. Then his teammate Tilted goes P11, 27.629. Jake stays P10, improves his time, but stays P10. Tsunami is improving on his time, 6 tenths through the second sector. Aris done with his time. Penigua goes up to P8, 26.863. Tsunami, how much can he improve on his time? Dragon as well is going to be improving, but Tsunami is up to P3. We don't know what his time is, 26.160, so goes in front of Marco as well. So Marco, the quali merchant in P4, yeah, that isn't looking good as of right now. Usually quali he is like two tenths in front of everyone, but now he's 2.5 tenths behind his teammates, and in front of him there are 2 more drivers, so it's not looking good for him. Roggy, of course, pole position for the sprint. Bobby P2, Tsunami 3rd, Marco 4th, Ibrahim 5th, and then it goes down to Aris, and then there is Reggie, and then of course there's then Womax. Yeah, I know that, Bobby. Too far, I kind of forgot about that, but still, I mean, still very good that with a sprint race you're still cooking somehow. But okay, focus on. I mean, sprint quality is one thing, but then of course like managing it through the sprint race into the actual qualifying, and then for the actual race, then that is going to be another thing. Because sprint quality is like the least meaningful thing at the moment. Of course, if you have good pace in the sprint qualifying and in the sprint, then that's a good confidence to have going into the actual quali and into the actual race. Formation lap, like always, and well, everyone is gonna be no. Oh, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. Wet track, but the game puts the drivers on the slicks. Oh, this is gonna be so good to watch. This is gonna be so good to watch. This is gonna be so tricky for these drivers. This is gonna be very, very, very difficult for the drivers, because the track is wet, but for the game it's not wet enough for anyone else, or it's not wet enough according to the game, and it puts them on the slicks, and well, they're gonna be sliding all over the place. This is gonna be an absolute, well, if you survive this race, then it's gonna be an achievement on its own. I mean, this is gonna be super difficult for these drivers to control their cars, and as well trying to go fast, not to lose it, not to lose their head as well with this. I mean, this is gonna be very interesting. This is gonna test their skill, and as well how good of a driver they are in the wet, which is a very important skill to have. And yeah, well, let's see. Drivers are coming soon. Lining up to the grid, warming up your tires is super important in this. Trying to get those rears warmed up, but don't get them dirty. They're gonna be even worse like that. Rocky is gonna have them tires a bit dirty, so he's gonna be struggling off the line. He probably got a bit more. Actually, no. Bobby's got. I mean, pretty much everyone has good amounts of temperature. Only Rocky has got a bit low. and as well dirty tires, so that's going to be even worse. Bobby could take the advantage out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Going to be lights out. Now we're going to hear it go in the British sprint race. Bobby is side by side with Rocky into turn 1 and is on the inside. He's gonna try and take the advantage. Someone has gone off track. There's 3 cars gone off track. That's Jake, Arius, and Tilted gone off completely onto the outside wall of turn 1. In the meantime, Rocky is still trying to fight with Bobby. Bobby on the outside has the better exit, and Bobby could take the race lead, and he's taking the race lead just like that. But Rocky is not gonna give up on this yet. At the moment, Rocky on the outside. Tsunami tried to fancy a move maybe somewhere, but Rocky still cannot find a single place to overtake Bobby. So Bobby is leading this Grand Prix with Rocky having them bit dirty tires and as well bit worse start. Overall, Bobby has managed to take the race lead from Rocky. In the meantime, behind Marco, complete disaster for him. Starting on the softs, started 4th. He's down to 7th at the moment. Absolute disaster for, the Division 1 champion, of course. Marco now tries to take 6th place from Tom, and he does that successfully into Stove. You know, behind, Alex has got a whole ass broken front wing. Seems like Tilted is fine with front wing. Jake as well. It's mainly Arius that's got damage from it. Has taken this some sort of a board there onto the way into the pits. But yeah, pretty much his sprint race is done right there, because of course safety cars and really pit stops are not common to happen in here in the sprints. Usually you're just trying to manage the tires to the end, and yeah, DRS is available. So I mean, this is super strange, but they have to deal with it. And at the moment, Bobby is dealing with it absolutely superbly at the moment. Both of them still have good amount of VRs, but Bobby's now burned it a little bit more than Rocky. In the meantime, Peligua and Steps have been fighting for half the lap, and Steps is still in front of Peligua into Stove. Peligua almost lost it on the exit of Cops, but managed to save it. And like I said, these are super tricky conditions for these drivers. In the front, GP is very close behind Tsunami, but not close enough to go for the attack. As well, GP has burnt his ERS quite a lot. Tsunami as well, though. Ibrahim behind has got a very good amount of ERS. The same with Marco. Tom in between of Ibrahim and GP, still a good amount of ERS. Rocky fast lap 34.845. Even though Bobby is leading, Rocky seems to have a very good pace, a little bit better pace than Bobby at the moment. Going through turn 3, 4, and 5. Let's see, can Rocky go for the attack into turn number 6? A bit of sliding on the exit out of turn 4 and 5. And does it? No, he's not gonna go for the attack. He's too far back. We're not behind. Who's gonna go for the attack? Is GP on Tsunami. Tsunami is trying to go for it back on the inside of turn 6, but cannot get it done. Maybe on a switch back to the inside. GP a bit wider, but cannot get it done. And into Cops. Unless you want to recreate Max and Lewis from 2021, then overtaking into Cops at this stage of the race is a bit risky and a bit useless. But you do you, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm gonna put it that way. I wouldn't recommend it. Tsunami, can he go for the attack on GP? He knows that he's flashing, and he goes for the easy pass into Stove, and Tsunami is in front. Meanwhile, behind Ibrahim and Marco, we're as well fighting for P5. Ibrahim has to defend from Marco. Marco tried to go for the inside, but Ibrahim blocked that off. And now Tom is trying to get his P6 back from Marco. Ibrahim is trying to go for the switchback on GP into Club. A bit of contact there, but Ibrahim still behind GP. Meanwhile, in front, Roggy is right behind Bobby's gearbox, not sending it into turn 3. Bobby is a bit sliding into turn 3. Bobby is a bit struggling with the grip at the moment and just overall pace compared to Roggy. Roggy, if he gets a good exit out of this corner, could go for the attack on Bobby. Is he gonna go for it? A little bit use of ERS. How's the DRS? Is he gonna send it down inside? No, he doesn't. No risk whatsoever at this stage of the race. Ibrahim tries to go for the attack on GP into turn 6 and 7. Around the outside Ibrahim is. GP has this better sort of a bit of contact there on the exit out of turn 7. Ibrahim still behind the GP. Aris has retired. Well, understandable. He was like 25 seconds behind the next car, so nothing was gonna happen. Marco had a look on Ibrahim, but cannot get it done into Maggots. Maybe if Marco gets a better exit than Ibrahim, then he could go for it. He's very close behind. He's got more ERS than Ibrahim. You know, in front, Rocky has gone for the overtake on Bobby, but let's focus behind as Marco tries to go for it down inside into Stove. And is he gonna get it? He is in front. He is in front into Vale, but Ibrahim sent it down inside, trying to defend his position. Tom is looking for it around the outside of both of them tries. Marco losing his car on the exit out of Vale chicane and loses both places to Ibrahim and Tom, trying to gain one position but has lost 2 positions. And Tom tries to go for it down inside into turn 3 on Ibrahim. Of course, with that he would get the DRS and as well be 1 position in front, but Ibrahim still well in front of Tom. Marco is going to be a bit furious with that. That Vale Club corner is, it's, well, there's a bit of off bank, so, or it's off bank. It's the opposite what you would see on Zandvoort, for example, turn 3 and the famous final corner. It's like the opposite of that. It's a little bit, it's of course not as ridiculous as both them corners, but it's a little bit tilted to the left, so it's a bit off camber. That's what I was looking for, off camber. Reggie, 3 seconds. Meanwhile in front, Bobby has re-overtaken Roggy in the same place that Roggy overtook him last lap. Behind, Tom's going for it on Ibrahim. Ibrahim, is he gonna lose 2 positions? Shunts Marco off track, doesn't leave any space whatsoever for Marco. Marco is definitely going to be furious at that, because there was absolutely no space whatsoever for Marco. Ibrahim just said, nah, I'm not going to give you space, just get on with it. And Marco, like that, is in P6. A bit dirty, but he is in P6. The track, the weather has dried up. It's not raining anymore. It's probably wasn't raining for like a few laps, but it's just only now that I've realized it, because there's been a bit of action going on left, right, and center. But yeah, Ibrahim close to Tom, but turn 7 is not really the place to go for. Rocky, what has happened to Rocky? He was in front of Bobby for a minute, but then he isn't. GP right behind Tsunami, but Cops isn't the place to overtake. He's right behind him. Meanwhile, in the back, Dragon has overtaken Marco. Actually, Ibrahim has lost 2 positions to Dragon and Marco, actually. It's not that Dragon overtook Marco, it's Ibrahim dropping. GP has the DRS, uses the DRS to overtake Tsunami before Stowe, and he is up to P3. Meanwhile, behind, Dragon overtakes Tom for P5. Very good sprint race from him. That was probably his first overtake on track, maybe, but in the end, I mean, he has taken advantage out of cars in front, getting well, everywhere. And he's up to P5 with a fastest lap as well, 28.804, a fastest lap from him as well, which, I mean, compared to like drivers like Ruggy and Bobby, this doesn't happen often. And as well, a very good fastest lap. The next one with the fast lap would be Marco. That's under 600 down on. But Tom is trying to re-overtake Dragon, and he does it. And as well, Marco tries to go for the attack on Dragon on the inside of turn 6. And he has done it. Ibrahim tries to go for the attack on Dragon. Is he going to lose 3 positions in just one straight? Yes, he has lost 3 positions in just one corner. Unfortunate from Dragon. Maybe he was trying to regain his ERS, but something's going on. Steps is as well catching a lot to him. Maybe disconnection from him. It could be a thing that he maybe disconnected, or just overall going slow maybe. But in front, Ruggy and Bobby was in front of Ruggy, but Ruggy got back in front of him. Bit weird what was going on there, but Ruggy is in front of Bobby in the end. Tsunami is in front of GP, and Marco is in front of Ibrahim. Tom lost 2 positions, and Ibrahim is trying to defend from Tom on the inside. Tom had a great run around the outside. They're going still side by side going into Abbey, which is turn 1, and Tom is in front of Ibrahim going into turn 1. Ibrahim, is he going to send it down inside into turn 3? No, he didn't. Maybe he looks for a fake, but Tom did not fall for it. Tom is right behind Marco. Those softs are going to be screaming at this stage of the race compared to the mediums. Mediums are still going to be good compared to the softs, which are a little bit worse. So those mediums are going to be a little bit better than the softs. But Marco's pure pace is well, saving him, and he hit Tom a bit on the gravel on the exit out of turn 7, which of course isn't a good thing. Ruins your speed going into the straight. You really need to get a good exit. Ibrahim is catching up to him through Cops, and on the exit out of Cops going into Maggots, and Beckett is very close behind him. If Tom is gonna go for the overtake on Marco, then Ibrahim is going to be close as well. Bobby doesn't go for the overtake on Ruggy. Reggie hits another 3 seconds. Meanwhile, behind, Ibrahim tries to go for it around the outside of Tom into Stove, and a beautiful overtake by Ibrahim up into P6 around the outside of Stove. Beautiful overtake by Ibrahim, and this is very crucial because then he can actually overtake Marco on the final lap, which we have started now. Lap 9 out of 9. And the drivers that are in front, well, the drivers that are in front of their pack, aka Ruggy, Tsunami, and Marco, are in a bit of a difficult position. Of course, then there's Peligua as well, but he has got 3 seconds. And really, P10 in a sprint race doesn't really matter as much. Anyways, in the meantime, nothing really much at the top happening. Ibrahim very close behind Marco. All of the drivers need to save as much ERS as possible. For Ibrahim, this is a lot easier to save ERS since he has a slipstream behind Marco. Marco is going to be saving as much as ERS as possible, and maybe try and get Ibrahim in front of him so that actually Marco would get the DRS. Of course, this is now running a risk that Tom would be in front, so it's not going to be the wisest decision. In front though, Bobby is right behind Ruggy with that DRS. Ruggy, it's moving on the straight a bit too much, but Bobby on the outside. Ruggy still trying to defend on the inside, but Bobby, what a move around the outside. In the meantime, behind Tsunami and GP, the same exact thing. Tsunami still side by side with GP, the same thing behind. And the GP has been a bit spun. Bobby wins the sprint race of Great Britain. Tsunami P3, GP P4, Ibrahim P5, Tom P6, Marco P7, Dragon just behind Marco, 300 behind him. Has to settle for 8, Steps P9, Hudson P10, Peligua P11, with Reggie there in the end, crashed out. Jake, Reggie, and then it was Womax, and then Tilted. But very good sprint race. I'll say that. This was a very good sprint race. Well, yeah, very good sprint race. And yeah, nothing really much else to add. I mean, we already got a bit of a taste going into the main race. Bobby has won it 13 minutes 51 seconds dead at the official time. Just pointing that out since it is dead on 13:51.000. And the rest was, yeah, Womack, Tilted, and Aris, the only one who has DNF'd, but that's understandable since, well, he was, as you saw, there was no safety cars, so no safety cars meant that he was pretty much hopeless going into the rest of the race. Into qualifying, it's dry. Sun is a bit trying to look through, but nothing very much different. I know I can't anymore. At one point I could have maybe, but okay. Trying to take a car. Nah. So yeah, short qualifying. It's annoying that it shows Q1, but it is just short qualifying. So all the time is seen in here. If there's going to be a DNF, then that's an actual DNF. And yeah, we go into qualifying, and we already have a few drivers out on track. We have Tilted, we have Tsunami, we have Aris. Anyone else? No one. But yeah, Tilted on softs, Tsunami on mediums, Aris on the softs as well. Few drivers trying to maybe go for the mediums. We'll see what they will do. GP as well out on track. Then second McLaren, it seems like it. Yes, that is gonna be Ibrahim on the mediums. GP as well on the mediums. Then we have Roggy coming out of the pits. Roggy on the mediums. Then we have, is that gonna be Reggie? No, that's gonna be Hudson on the mediums as well. Far down the order of the pit crew, there is gonna be a Mercedes. That is gonna be Jake on mediums again. Just in front of him though is gonna be Tom. Tom, yes, on the mediums again. A lot of drivers on the mediums. I mean, pretty much it's the basic thing. Peligua as well. It's really the thing that you want to use the mediums just for, well, Delta. It really just depends from person to person what you want to use them for. I'm gonna go with Tsunami to like compare the like show what the top level time would be. Actually, I'm gonna take off the telemetry. And here we go. Into turn 1, flat out. Turn 2 as well, flat out with these F1 cars. And then into turn 3 is gonna be your first braking point. Good braking there. Tsunami, of course, on full traction, it seems like it. Or medium traction, but still traction control nonetheless. But through the first sector, very good. You want to avoid those bombs on the right, like Tsunami does. First sector 27.788. And then through turn 6, 7, and soon it's going to be 8. 8 right here. And then going into Cops. Very famous corner. Maybe sometimes from the for the wrong reasons. But it is still a very famous corner. Then into Maggots, Beckett, and then Chapel. Maggots, Beckett, and Chapel. Good one from Tsunami. Second sector is going to be 0.3591 to the second sector. Probably is going to be faster than Tilted. And then into Stove. You want to a little bit avoid that inside curb. And then Vale Chicane. Of course, you want to avoid those sausage curbs. and then this exit out of that corner is very tricky. Club, and then Tsunami goes fastest. No big surprise there. 27.343 by Tsunami. Aris goes second, 27.695. Tilted third, 27.798. Actually, Aris has set a slower time on the mediums. Wait, no. Aris has set a slower time on the softs in short qualifying than what he did in sprint short quali on mediums. Now that is quite an interesting thing. Ibrahim goes fastest, 27.216. GP was second for a short period of time, but gets dropped down to fourth as Ruggy goes P1, 27.048. GP 27.409. And then the next car to finish their times would have been Hudson at 27.448. Then Jake P6, 27.645 on the mediums as well. Then it's going to be Tom. What's his time going to be? At 27.542, and it goes between Hudson and Jake. Wildcat has joined the session. I'm not sure. Can he join in? Peligua goes P3, 27.330. Very good time by the Alpine driver. Steps has started his time, but Marco is further up on his time, 0.3285. So I believe a lot faster than Tsunami through the second sector. Marco should go fastest. Yes, he does. 26.888. And yeah, goes fastest provisional pole position by 1.5 seconds. 1.5 tenths, sorry. Not 1.5 seconds. Not 1.5 seconds, 1.5 tenths. And yeah, the first rider to go into 26.888 in short qualifying. Of course, in sprint qualifying, we saw that a driver can go into 25s even. Womack is gonna start his lap. Steps first sector 27.673 through Beckett's a bit sliding. Second sector 0.7790. Still somewhat close with Tsunami and probably GP as well through the second sector, so it's not gonna be that bad. Through Stove. And then Vale. The exit of this Vale chicane is very tricky since it's a bit off camber, like I said, so the traction is a bit difficult. And crossing line steps goes P9, 27.610. I thought he was going to be somewhat close there, but with Tsunami and GP, maybe Hudson, but now he's a bit further back down. Tsunami actually improves his time with the same mediums, 27.123. A very good time from him. Rocky, is he going for it actually? Marco's not going for it. Rocky seems to be on another flying lap. He's 2 tenths through the first sector. I want to see his second sector. Is he improving on his second sector? He seems like he's pushing. He is pushing. Second sector over 3 tenths up on his time. So he's trying to go far, even faster than Marco. That quali merchant title could be in danger for Marco. In the meantime, Womack is going to cross the line to set the slowest time, quite slowest time by a second behind Tilted. But let's go to Ruggy crossing the line, and it goes P1, 26.585. 3 tenths faster than Marco. And that was done with, used mediums as well. A little bit more used mediums. Since he has done an extra lap on them. It's a very good time by Ruggy. And the Marco Adamant doesn't seem to be that quick in qualifying what we have seen this season, and overall what I have seen from him in BP and everywhere else is not up to the speed it seems like it. Compared to his normal standards, although to be fair, Ruggy is very quick on his own. Race pace very good, quali pace as well good, but now he's showing absolute levels to Marco. Marco on the same mediums out on track. So he's trying to beat his time, and of course trying to go provisional pole position on the mediums. We'll see if he's going to be able to do that. Wildcat has started his lap, the same with Ibrahim on the softs. So he should be able to go close to Roggy's time, of course. Maybe even go provisional pole position. Of course, Roggy still has a time to set on those softs, but at the moment that would be provisional pole position. But we'll see if he's able to do that. Wildcat to the first sector, what's it gonna be? 28th dead. 28 dead. Pretty nice number. Not gonna lie. Ibrahim through the first sector, 2.5 tenths up in his time through the first sector. So already he's gonna be very close with Marco. Of course, again, softs compared to the mediums are so much quicker. So yeah, but still, he is gonna be very close with Rocky at the top. Through the second sector now, Maggots and Beckett. Maggots, Beckett, and then the final corner, this little left-hander Chapel, and then second sector, what's it gonna be? An 0.3026, almost 6 cents faster than his previous time. The gap, yeah, that is gonna be very close with Rocket through stop. It's aggressive on the curbing there. That is very aggressive through the curbing. I've not seen that line really anywhere, or at least I haven't used. And through the final couple of corners, Ibrahim should go fastest, and he's going fastest. Yes, he does. 26.531 by Ibrahim. Again, Roggy and Marco are going to be able to beat that time if they're going to be out there on softs. But as of right now, Ibrahim is the fastest driver on track, and who has set the fastest time as well. Next driver to cross the line with an improvement is going to be Jake, but that's only a small improvement compared to his previous time, which was on the mediums as well. 27.566, so probably mistakes on that lap. Well, quite a big amount of mistakes on that lap. Steps starts his lap. Bobby, it seems like it goes fastest. 26.304 by Bobby. By far fastest by over 2 tenths in front of Ibrahim. Aris goes P6, 27.284. Very good time by Aris, actually. Big improvements compared to his previous time. Tom goes P4, 26.866, but was in P4. But Marco improves his time only marginally, though, on those mediums. 26.820 by Marco. Not really a particularly good lap compared to his standards again. Yeah, bit. Peligua 2.5 tenths faster through the first sector compared to his previous time. That's gonna be a pretty much standard. In here, Hudson is improving, and it goes up to P6, 27.025 by the V-Corp driver. GP through the second sector, almost 9 tenths faster than his previous time. He's going for it for provisional pole position at the moment. 9 tenths faster. That would put him 26.5, which would be 2 tenths behind Bobby, which would it be too far behind him? GP, could he go provisional pole position? No, he can't, but very close behind Bobby. 13 thousandths behind Bobby. What has GP cooked on that lap? That was absolutely out of nowhere by GP compared to what we have seen from him in sprint qualifying. Steps as well, P5, 26.787. Peligua has invalidated his time. Dragon is back in the pits as well. Womax is going to try to improve his time. Reggie's still no time. Anyone on a flying lap? It doesn't seem like it. Anyone is actually on a flying lap. Yeah, no one is on a flying lap besides Womax. By the way, I will say this. When qualifying ends, I will quickly go take a toilet break. I'm not gonna go for a number 2. I'm gonna just take a pee real quick. But I should be back in time for the formation lap. Maybe even before that. But yeah, I should be easily in for the formation lap. Womax to the first sector, he's improving by 1.5 tenths. That's very good improvements. If he's gonna be close behind Tilted, there's gonna be a good lap. Of course, it depends if he had a mistake on the lap, but 1 second behind, that is quite a big time to improve from what was that soft tire lap as well. Through Maggots and Beckett, let's see what he can do. Still staying in 8th and drop to 7th, 6th, 5th. Bit wide. Second sector, what's it gonna be? 3 tenths. Still is gonna be behind Wildcat. Not far behind Wildcat, but still quite far. And he's gone back into the pits. So yeah, lap done from him. Wildcat's the next one, the furthest one on a flying lap, but he's not on a flying lap. Then there's gonna be Aris, and now there are gonna be drivers coming out of the pits. We have Hudson out of the pits. We have as well. That's Steps. No, that's gonna be Dragon. Well, a load of drivers. Let's just say we're gonna have everyone out there on track. Literally everyone out there on track. We're Hudson, Aris, Dragon, who's almost binned it on the exit of turn 4. Tilted, Wildcat, who has started his lap. He's going to have a bit of traffic in front of him. Not that much, but still, it's going to have a bit of traffic in front of him. So yeah, there's going to be... everyone is going to be coming out right now on track. There's going to be quite a big amount of traffic, which Aris is going to be right there in front. He's going to have to try and, well, manage his... that he's not going to be caught out of that traffic, but we'll see. Wildcat 4 tenths faster than his previous time through the first sector alone. That is a very good improvement for now. In front of him, there's one of the Williamses, but that is not going to be a big deal. Just... easy let through. Hello, David. Through Cops. And then through Maggots and Beckett. Let's see what's his second sector gonna be. Maggots, Beckett, and then Chapel. Second sector, is he gonna... how much is he gonna improve in? 7.5 tenths, so that's very good improvement. That will be putting him close to his teammate Jake, who is currently P13, which is not a bad lap. PKM Rad. Pimarada, yeah. Of course I know that you're Pimarada. Don't worry, I know you. And Wildcats through the final corner, goes up to P13 in front of his own teammate, 27.521. Very good time. Aris is a bit down to the first sector. Second sector, can he improve? Yes, he is by 1.5 tenths. Gets a little bit of safety from the cars in front, maybe as well a bit blocking. Through Stove. Is it going to invalidate? Yes, he does invalidate through Stove. And that is lapped on. Jumps over the sausage curbs. I mean, David, when you said that you were like PKM Rad, then I was like, who? But then when you corrected yourself to Pimarada, then yeah, of course I know you. Of course I know you. Don't worry. David, SS, Pimarada, of course I know you. Don't worry. Let's... I guess I'll just go with Ibrahim to the first sector. Is he improving? No, he isn't. He's a bit down on his time. GP just about starts his lap. Womax is not going to be able to start his lap. Dragon is up by 5.5 tenths to the second sector, and Dragon goes up to P4, 26.545. Ruggy to the first sector is up by 2 tenths. Of course, Marco and Ruggy are on, well, their first soft run laps. Hudson finished his qualifying in P6 as of right now, 26.6666. Tilted in P11, 27.210. Then we're gonna have probably that is actually Wildcat. Oh, okay. Steps the next one, improves this time, but it only goes P8, 26.725. Tom in P6, 26.592. Is that gonna be Marco? Marco crosses line and he goes professional position, 26.064. Then Jake goes P6, 26.571. then we're gonna have Bobby. Can he improve on his time? No, he can't whatsoever. Ruggy, no, he can't. He doesn't improve on his time. He's invalidated. Ruggy only in P7. Disaster for the championship leader as of right now. Tsunami still yet to cross the line, and he goes P2 26.275. Beautiful lap from him. GP still yet to finish his time. But I don't know, that's him done. That is him done in P4 26.314. And it is Marco on the provisional pole position. Actually, Bobby did improve on his time, actually, what the fuck. And he's up to P2, interestingly. But anyways, Marco is on provisional pole position. The rant that I was talking at the beginning, that's quality merchant and all that. He's still got that pole position in his pockets. And yeah, Marco on pole position, Bobby P2, Tsunami P3, GP P4, Peligua P5. Very good qualifying from him, I have to say. Very good qualifying from him. Ibrahim P6, Dragon P7, Jake P8, Ruggy P9, and Tom P10 rounds of the top 10. And then is Hudson Steps, Reggie, Tilted, Aris, Wildcat, Wumax. And there it is. And like I said at the beginning of qualifying, I'll take now a pee quick. We'll see in around a minute. Just in time for the formation lap, actually, so just in time. Let's get the details. And a lot of drivers on the softs, actually. We have the top 3 on the mediums, aka, well, I'll just list them. Marco, Bobby, Tsunami, Peligua, Ibrahim, Jake, and Ruggy on the mediums. Rest of the grid, GP, Dragon, and then Tom, Hudson, Steps, Reggie, Tilted, Aris, Wildcat, and Wumax are going to be starting on the soft competitive tire. Yeah. Them soft runners are going to be very aggressive at the beginning of the race in the first few laps. Ruggy is gonna be in, well, behind since, well, yeah, he's gonna be a bit, yeah, I mean, he's gonna be a bit of trouble from behind. He could be at the start of the race, since of course them softs have a lot better, well, starts. They have a lot better grip. But yeah, we'll see how everyone is gonna start. Hopefully we don't see the same incident that we saw in the sprint race, that all of a sudden Tilted, Aris and Womax are just out of the ground, well, pretty much shoved outside of turn 1 into the wall. Whatever happened there. So yeah, drivers are lining up to the grid slots. Okay, Pimrod, okay. And now we go into 5 red lights. Hopefully soon. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Give me the lights out. Now we're going. Here we go in the British Grand Prix, and Bobby once again gets a decent start off the line. Now this time too, Marco. He's still side by side with him going into turn 1 and 2. Is he gonna send it down inside into turn 3 for the race lead? Yes, he does. A bit forcing Marco off track, but that was just a bit. But Marco is well, not really yet again, but Bobby has yet again taken the race lead from the lap 1. In the first opening laps, Bobby is lagging a bit for me, but in the end he is in P1. GP using those softs to an absolute perfection in the beginning, and he is over to P2 from P4. Absolute perfection by GP. This is the sort of stuff that we saw in Netherlands from Tig and Rob. GP would pray for that, but unfortunately he won't be able to do that. Meanwhile behind, was that Hudson having a great start as well? Yes, that was. He got 3 places up from his P11 position. Those softs yet again. Rocky and Jake both lost 1 position. In front, still staying the same. Behind, Steps overtakes Tilted. Jake is getting overtaken by Ruggy. He's up to P9. Hudson tries to go for maybe some sort of an overtake. Ruggy tried to go for it, but loses. No, actually, he doesn't lose it, but Reggie almost lost it on the exit out of the final corner, and he loses it completely going into the gravel. And damage front wing as well from him. Someone else as well, Steps as well, damage front wing from that as he was caught up in that. And well, Reggie's race at the moment is going to be done right there and there. Steps as well, it's a bit of a, well, a big turnaround from him as of right now. Peligua as well, who started like P6, is down to P9. Well, he is fighting for P8 to try and stay in P8, but he is fighting Ruggy, one of the fastest drivers at the moment on the grid. And Ruggy is going to be able to be in front. Yes, he is in front of Peligua. So, Ruggy up to P8. Very good in the end for the first 2 laps. A very good start to the race. At the moment, still staying within that DRS detection zone of the car in front. That is going to be very important. GP has the DRS on Bobby. Is he going to try and go for it for the lead of the Grand Prix into Stove? No, he doesn't. Very close behind Bobby, but doesn't want to go for it yet. Meanwhile, behind the 2, McLaren's a bit close. Dragon behind on the softs is going to try to think a little bit aggressive, but I don't think he's going to be going too aggressive, not sending any sort of devilish dive bombs anytime soon. I think if someone is going to be Hudson, who's set a fastest time of 29.262. Hudson not trying to go for it. No one is going for it at the moment. For it takes into turn 3, but for the next for the next DRS straight, maybe someone Reggie and Steps into the pit. Steps hard and probably Reggie actually mediums behind. GP still staying behind Bobby. Bobby a bit wide through turn 6. GP doesn't go for it. He is a bit blocked by Bobby. A good car positioning from Bobby as well. Helped him to keep that P1 more confidently. Of course, overtaking through that corner would be a bit difficult, but that was very close between GP and Bobby through Cops. That would have been a big one, very big one through there. Through Maggots, Beckett, And then Chapel, GP is right behind Bobby. He needs to go for it now on the left. Marco is gonna as well trying to go for it on Bobby, and maybe for the race lead. No, he doesn't. Maybe as well Tsunami tries to go for it on Bobby down inside into Stove, but Bobby has the better run on the outside and doesn't make it. Meanwhile, behind Dragon is in front of Ibrahim, so he's down to P6. Dragon up to P5. GP is leading the Grand Prix away from Marco. Dragon fast lap 29.202. Do they have the same exact time? No, 262 and 202 are of course two different things. So yeah. GP is a bit getting away from Marco. Bobby right behind Marco. I don't think he's gonna send it though down into turn 6. No, he doesn't. GP a bit wide again. Well, not really again, but the same way that Bobby was. Bobby tried to look for the gap on the inside of turn 7, but the gap quickly disappears. Bobby, is he gonna go side by side through comes with Marco side by side? Yes, he has. Bit of contact between them. Somehow they haven't spun either each other out or one of themselves out. Somehow they haven't done that, but that was a very risky move by Bobby for well, no reason really, since the race is still long. The race is still so young, but he's still trying to attack it. Marco goes for the lead of the Grand Prix. Aranya outside of Stove. A beautiful move by Marco. GP's just gonna try to defend from Bobby. He's defending quite aggressively, and now Tsunami tried to as well go for the overtake on Bobby. Bobby left absolutely no space whatsoever, even though Tsunami was there. Now the two McLarens are a bit side by side. Tsunami in the end gives that position in front of Ibrahim, who is in front of Dragon as well. Ruggy right behind this whole mess. He's gonna try and gain a few positions. Dragon tried to go for it on Ibrahim, but he might actually lose a position to Ruggy. Down to P7, maybe he goes. Ruggy gets a better exit around the outside, and he does get that position. So Dragon tried to gain one position, lost one position. In the end, Ruggy goes for the aggressive dive bomb into turn 6 on the inside on Ibrahim, but he cannot get it done through turn 7 and 8, unfortunately. So he is gonna have to stick behind Ibrahim for now, but of course the race is still long. Behind Aris has binned it. Aris has a penalty, the only one who has a penalty as well, 3-second one. Marco is getting away a bit from GP. GP still has a DRS. GP has almost no ERS. Marco has still that 30%. Bobby should go for it, but he's not going for it. He's trusting GP quite a lot in here, that he still has that pace, but Bobby, again, connections, he's probably gonna jump back in, up to P3 again, maybe even P2, but at the moment Bobby is down the order quite a lot. Is it actually him down there? What? Wait, that is actually him down there. That is actually him down there. Well, terrible news for Bobby, because actually that wasn't a lag that he wanted, of course. Watcat overtaken and Womax. Peligua as well trying to defend from Tom, but Tom manages to get him Aranya outside of turn 8. Bobby was fighting for P2 and for the victory. Now he's gonna try to fight for points as of right now, unfortunately, with that his Wi-Fi issues striking once again. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate, that one from Bobby. Nothing that's not his mistake, of course. Maybe the internet is a bit dog shit, but nothing that he did wrong. It's maybe his internet, or maybe this game's problem, because sometimes this game is a bit of a pain in the ass as well, with wheel calibrations that in every other game work besides this one. Speaking from real experience. But yeah, enough of that. But yeah, Bobby in the end is down in P12. Unfortunately, is gonna have to fight for some scrappy points. If somehow there's gonna be a safety car, then maybe he can think about something, but at the moment, nothing really much that he can think about. Meanwhile, we have to think about the GP overtaking Marco into turn 6. Beautiful overtaking, Marco looking maybe around the outside, but maybe just trying to get a good exit out of turn 7 to get a good run up to Cops. Of course, not gonna try to overtake him there, but just to get a good run, and then just good run to the follow-up corners. A bit wide from JP. Maybe there was a track limit there, but I mean, we don't know unless we check the race director. But well, yeah, GP has to think about the drivers behind, because Marco is already overtaking him on the straight easily like that, and Tsunami as well is gonna overtake him, although he's not gonna really overtake him like that, since GP kinda moved, and as well not leaving any sort of space for Tsunami around the outside. Tsunami sending one down inside, aggressive one into Vale, and that actually worked, and maybe his teammate could get him around the outside as well through Club. GP just about leaving the space for Ibrahim, but Ibrahim is in front of him, so GP tried to defend aggressively from Tsunami, a bit too aggressively. Has now dropped two positions, maybe even 3 positions. Maybe he could drop a position to Rocky if he gets a good run on the exit out of his corner. He went a bit wide, trying to get that better exit. Has loads and loads of VRS, and he sees that GP is flashing. GP almost takes Rocky out of the Grand Prix. GP is getting a bit lost in his own head a bit. Rocky around the outside, can he get the better exit? Rocky had to back out of that. GP just about left him just about enough space to breathe there, so that there wasn't any contact. Rocky right behind GP's gearbox, and actually his ass. GP is a bit holding back Rocky at the moment. GP still has that DRS, unfortunately for Rocky, but of course Rocky has a tremendous amount of VRS compared to GP. The 2 McLarens are gonna catch up to the horse in front, which is Marco. GP well yeah. To be fair, GP gets overtaken by Dragon as well, so he has lost 4 positions in just 2 laps, pretty much, from P2 down to P6. Or no, actually 6 positions in just 2 laps, since he got overtaken first by Marco, then of course Tsunami and Ibrahim, and then on the same straight, then Rocky and Dragon. And now, well, GP has to just try and stay within this DRS. He really needs to think about his ERS management. ERS management on this game is very easy, so yeah, he's gonna have to really think about his ERS management, because what I've seen from him, he's been having quite a low amount of ERS most of the times. Now he has a quite high amount of ERS, but usually when he's quite high up there in the standings, in the leaderboard, then he's got quite a low amount of ERS, and actually Tom could get the DRS. No, he's not gonna get it since he has no ERS as well. 2 McLarens right behind Marco. Marco going a lot. That was the apex was 5 kilometers away from him, and the 2 McLarens could take the full advantage out of that. Ibrahim, can he go around the outside? But what was he thinking to go around the outside? Had the inside just there on the table, gets 3 seconds, but that is probably going to get removed. Someone's going into the pits, that GP going into the pits, but Ibrahim is going to defend his P5, actually P4, but what was Ibrahim thinking to go around the outside? I mean, that late as well. That was a very late call to go around the outside. He had the inside line like right there, served on the table, but no, he just stayed there behind him and then tried to go around the outside out of absolutely nowhere. And all of this shenanigans with GP, with with Bobby, with everyone. Rocky is up with a P3, just like that. As well with his own pace, but as well helped by other other people being affected by incidents and connection issues. Has allowed Rocky to be right behind his teammate Marco, who started on pole position, and at the moment Rocky is in P3 fighting for the win, which he could easily be fighting, because in front of him there's Tsunami. Marco is right behind Tsunami, and Rocky is right behind Marco, so Tsunami could easily fall back down to P3 so easily on this straight. Rocky is not using any of his ERS, and he's not going to actually overtake Tsunami into Stove. Quite an interesting move there by Rocky to stay behind, but you know, he's probably already thinking like few laps in front. Meanwhile, behind, Tom goes into the pits. Softrunner going into the pit. GP has pitted for the hards. Tilted lap earlier has pitted for the hards. Wildcat pitted for the mediums. Tom, what is gonna pit for? Mediums as well, like Wildcat. Mediums are doable to the end of the race, but they're gonna be quite close with tire wear. Rocky is still staying behind Tsunami. Of course, he doesn't really need to risk it. The top three are like this. I mean, pretty much the top three are the drivers that are fighting for the championship right here and here. Marco would gain points on Tsunami and Rocky. He would be... Well, actually, this will be very, very close, because Marco is 10 points behind Rocky. This is 10 points, unless Rocky has fast lap. No, this is actually 10 points, so on a count back, either one Haas is going to lead the championship. They're going to be, as of right now, standings. Of course, Marco is now going to get overtaken by Tsunami. Is he gonna? Yes, he is. And by Marco, and as well by Ibrahim. Aranyat's side. All three. No, Marco did not get him. Or actually, no, that was Rocky who spun. That was actually Rocky who spun. I thought that was Marco. But no, Rocky actually half spun. And now it is a McLaren 1 and 2. Well, the Dragon got the lead for a few seconds. But, of course, with that pit lane, cutting the track a bit, legally. But it is a McLaren 1 and 2. Kinda, well, a bit unexpected. But it is a McLaren 1-2. Ibrahim has a 3-second time penalty, which can be removed, since he went so wide. And he obviously lost time with that. So I don't think that is going to be a warning. Of course, then if he gets another warning, then... Or if he got multiple warnings from that, then I mean, the cases can be different in this type of scenario, but if you just got one warning from that, then it could be removed. It could be. It's not 100% guaranteed that it's going to be removed, but it can be removed. So yeah, Ibrahim, I would say that he's still in contention for the win. Now Ibrahim has fallen back behind Tsunami, but of course with that DRS and using all that ERS, he's going to be right in front of Tsunami, and as well Marcus has overtaken Tsunami, but there's contact between them a bit into Stove. That was just a bit argy-bargy there, just a little contact, nothing to really worry about. And so it is Tsunami in the race lead. Marco P2, Tsunami P3 and Rocky P4. This is still good for Marco and as well Tsunami, because he is gaining points on Rocky. He is losing points on Marco, of course, but in the end he's going to catch up to the championship leader, and they're all 5 points between each other. Like Rocky 5 points in front of Tsunami, who is 5 points in front of Marco. So in the end it would be 5 points between all three of them, or 6. Actually 6 or 5 or 4. I don't know. I can't do this type of math on top of my head, but you get what I mean. It is gonna get a lot closer, from like 10 points between them three to like 6 points or like 4 points, whatever it is gonna be. it's still gonna be a lot closer if it would finish like this. Constructors, of course, would go to McLaren's favor, but the race, there's still half the race to go, and Marco is gonna get Ibrahim. Ibrahim is giving slipstream to Tsunami, but somehow Tsunami is in front of Ibrahim. They're gonna be going side by side a bit into Vale. This is not really what this is. This is a bit suboptimal. Ibrahim forced out a bit. Tsunami is in front of Ibrahim though, so this is the best situation, the best scenario that they can be. This is actually the best scenario, if you don't say that. If you ignore the parts where Marco and Rogi are gonna spin, have something bad luck to happen, and they should be on pace where they are right now, then this is actually the best scenario what Tsunami can have, is to be in front of Ibrahim, and then it is going to be Marco and Rogi, because he's going to gain 12 points, no sorry, 13 points on Rogi, which would put him into the championship lead. Marco is going to catch up a bit to Rogi, but this is the best scenario that he can be. P1 Tsunami, P2 Ibrahim, P3 Marco, and Rogi P4, but the race is still long, like I've been saying for a lot of the time in this race. They still have to do the pit stops. Ibrahim just said fuck that corner and just absolutely got that one out. And Ibrahim is still gonna be in front of the two horses. The two horses are not really going for that, but Ibrahim has gone fully out and he's going into the pits. Okay, no, he's not gonna try and go for the... He's not gonna go for the undercut since he has decided to retire, so... This is what I mean. Ibrahim has the pace to be up front in there, but he just does this stupid things that cost him this. To be fair, I don't know why did he even retire. He still had, he still could have been, in P4, but he just decided, nah. And just leaves Tsunami to die. Just leaves Tsunami to die because he has two Freedom cars right behind him. The two drivers who are fighting for freedom, even though they're not from US, far away from US. Their cars are still from Haas, which is from US. So two Freedom cars versus one British, the US versus the British in the British Grand Prix, and a British driver versus one from Italy and one from Slovakia, if I remember right. Anyways, Rogi goes for the lead of the Grand Prix, and Tsunami gets as well overtaken by Marco. Tsunami were pretty much, this was a reverse job, and Tsunami and Rogi go into the pits. Marco is forced out, forced to stay out for now. Jake in the pits as well. Peliguas stays out. Dragon pits it onto the mediums as well. In the meantime, we'll always really focus on the drivers in front. Hudson has pitted for mediums. Bobby for softs. Yellows, and that is a VSC caused by Ari spinning on the exit out of Cops. This is good for Mark. Oh, okay. Aris has been DSQ'd for going the wrong way. What the fuck? This is good for Peligua and Marco if this VSC stays out for long enough. Tsunami just about manages to come out in front of Dragon. By the way, Rogi is quite far in front of Tsunami, but now the gap is closed back in. But yeah, if the VSC stays out for long enough, this is very good news for Marco, because he isn't gonna lose that much time on the pits, in the pits. The same with Peligua. But yeah, I mean, we'll see for how long this VSC is gonna be for. Of course, we don't know how long is it gonna be until it's gonna be restarted. It's gonna be green flagged. Marco has to take the most amount of advantage out of this VSC, and he has to pit as well. DRS has been enabled, so it is back in. So he's not gonna gain any sort of time, and as well, he had to slow down quite a lot before pitting. Peligua is gonna stay out once again, and he's gonna actually take the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, behind, Tsunami is in front of Rocky. Rocky caught out by the VSC ending, and so Tsunami is in the net race lead at the moment. Meanwhile, behind, one of the Red Bulls has been it. Is that Bobby? Yes, that is Bobby who has binned it on the Exeter stove. He's staying there. He's not moving for some reason. Marco has pitted, like I said, for the softs, and he's down into P9 and quite far away from the top 3 that he was fighting with. Safety car is not going to be out unless Bobby is going to crash out, which I kind of doubt, but Bobby is probably going to retire himself. Reggie and Tilted fighting for P14. Reggie still in front. Bobby retires in the pits. Tsunami still in front of Roggy. They're fighting for the net race lead at the moment. It is the 2 title rivals, Tsunami and Roggy. Of course, Marco is in there, but Marco at the moment quite far behind. He's just caught up to the pack of Hudson and Jake. After that, he has got 4 seconds to catch up to GP. Roggy is gonna go for the overtake on Tsunami. Easy done it. And he is up to P2 and net race leads. Peligua still staying out on those mediums. I don't know what is he going for on those mediums. He's praying for a safety car at the moment. And he's as well risking that his tires are gonna have a puncture. But as well, the safety car at this point on is not gonna really help him as much. I don't see if then the other cars would pit for the softs, so, or other tire, for example, GP. So actually, no, scrap that what I said. Actually, it would benefit him quite a lot. Marco up to P8, and the next car to overtake is Jake. Jake on the same combat of tire, just that 1 lap older, but Marco has an incredible pace, so it should be an easy overtake for him on the next straight. On the straight, not close enough. Rocky still in front of Tsunami. Dragon just in that DRS zone. The longer that he's gonna stay in that DRS zone, the better. Still 9/10. He's burning his DRS, but he is in at the moment, so he's safe for this lap from Tom. Tom has got quite a lot of DRS, so it's for Dragon to stay in there. Tsunami, is he gonna go for it? Yes, he is going for it on Roggy. Dragon's gonna catch up a bit on Roggy, since of course he had no DRS, sorry. Marco overtaking Jake easy, like I said already. Dragon's still there, but not anymore there. He is 1 second outside of that. He's outside of that. He needs to pray for Roggy to slow down a bit. But at the moment, it's not looking positive that he's gonna get the DRS, and no, he's not got it. He hasn't got it. So now he's prone for an attack from Tom. And now Roggy and Tsunami can be left alone to fight for that race when tilted 3 seconds. It is gonna be between Tsunami and Roggy, unless somehow Marco is gonna catch up to them, but I highly doubt it. It is like 6 seconds to catch up to Roggy and between Roggy and Marco. Yeah, it is 6 seconds. So yeah, it is quite an impossible job from Marco to really catch up to them. It's really just mainly at this point damage limitations for him in the championship. It's really just damage limitation. You cannot say anything else. It's really just damage limitation for the championship. The best case scenario for him probably would be Tsunami winning. Well, of course, the best scenario for Marco would be that both of these take each other out, and then yeah, they would finish behind him. Peligua's still going at it with those mediums. They're gonna be quite short at this point. He's really praying for a safety car, which I doubt it that is gonna happen, but he is praying for it. He is praying for it, and that is his game at the moment. Well, he's gonna be still getting points, unless he's gonna get punctured and he's gonna drop like 50 seconds to WOMAX, so yeah, I don't think he's gonna be outside of the points anytime soon at the moment. Roggy and Tsunami still close to each other. Tsunami has got only 40% of ERS. Roggy has got absolute maximum amount of ERS that he has, or that he can have. 100%, of course, now it goes down a bit, but overall he has around 100% to 90% of ERS. He's got that pretty much to the top filled up, so he can just now stay behind Tsunami. He knows that he has that better pace. He knows that he is going to be faster than Tsunami, and now with that DRS he's going to deploy his ERS as well and trying to get away from Tsunami a bit. Dragon Briggy overtakes Tom on the same straight that he got overtaken on by Tom. Marco is catching up to the cars in front, but the gap, I mean, the gap is going down. It's 2.7 seconds. The faster that he's gonna get that DRS to the cars in front, the faster he's gonna be able to overtake them, because once he's got that DRS, then they're not getting away from him anytime soon. Meanwhile, Roggy, new fast lap, 27.961, the first race lap to be in the 27s. Tsunami a bit struggling. Roggy is absolutely on it. He's trying to get away from Tsunami. Tsunami doesn't have that much ERS, the same with Roggy, but Roggy has that a bit more ERS and as well just that bit more pace. But with these corners, I don't think Roggy will be able to get away, although if he's gonna absolutely waste his ERS, then maybe. But at this rate, no way in hell. As well, he was maybe praying to get Peligua's DRS, because if he gets that DRS, then he's gonna be set for a good race, pretty much safe, to be safe. But he didn't get that DRS, and now Tsunami is gonna be gaining a lot on Roggy, since he has as well no ERS. Well, both of them have no ERS at the moment to really do. Peligua still staying out. He's still out there on the same mediums, on the same lap 1 mediums that he's on. Roggy is gonna need that DRS. He is gonna need it if he wants to get away from Tsunami on this lap, but he's not getting it. The gap is too big. 1.1 seconds was the gap, and he's not got it. And when the time is gonna be for the next DRS straight, it might be too late, because Peligua might be too slow, and Tsunami is going to be right behind his ass, trying to take advantage. Tsunami as well has got a decent amount of ERS, the same as Roggy, but Tsunami just a tiny bit more. Roggy now right behind Peligua. It might be actually not that bad for Roggy. He's not going to be that slow, but, well, 6 lap old softs compared to 21 lap old mediums is going to be quite high difference. He's getting that DRS very nicely, but through these corners it's gonna be a bit close with Peligua. Actually not. It is actually a very good fit with the gaps, and Roggy is gonna easily overtake Peligua, making sure that Tsunami is gonna stay behind him, although Tsunami got him very easily on that straight, using his DRS as well. Peligua he's still staying out. He's still... This man in the Alpine, I don't know what the hell did he take before the race. Is that a puncture? It looked like a puncture, like the way that he lost it. It looked like a puncture, but still not a puncture. I don't know how the hell has he not got a puncture yet on those tires. They're short like hell, and he's still going at him. Well, eventually he'll need to pit anyways, because he hasn't pitted. he hasn't pitted, so he will need to pit anyways at some point. In the meantime, in front, Tsunami and Rocky are fighting for the race lead. And Tsunami, can he get that switch back on Rocky on the inside, on the exit of turn 7 into turn 8? He's gonna be in front, going into Cops, but they're still gonna be side by side into Cops. And Tsunami is in front of Rocky. But I don't think this was the smartest move that Tsunami could have done. Now it looked like he was gonna try and slow down a bit so that Rocky would be in front of him, but didn't try that. And so Rocky is gonna get the DRS on Tsunami. Rocky's got 80% of ERS compared to Tsunami, who's got 60% of ERS. Of course, they're gonna be trying to save as much of ERS they can as possible for the final lap. In the meantime, Marco has caught up to the pack in front that I was talking about. It's getting a bit wide. Marco is fighting with GP into Vale chicane. A bit of contact there into that chicane. A bit of contact there between them, and a lot more contact. Just getting locked, tires getting locked there, and well, push them off track immediately. Tom up to P4 just like that. GP, no DRS it seems like on the car in front. In the meantime, Peligua finally has pitted, and he rejoins in P9. In front, Rocky still nothing on Tsunami. Dragon is adamant going for the podium that he definitely did not expect since he started in P7. Tom as well could be going for a second podium in a row. These two are fighting for the second podiums of the season, which from these two is definitely not expected. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to be on the podium. Well, Dragon, especially from what I've seen from him this season, definitely not. But here we are, he's trying to get his second podium of the season. Meanwhile, in front, Wildcat has been it on the exit of Stove, but of course it will be too late for a safety car. In the meantime, Marco in front of GP, Tom right behind Dragon, but Tom and Dragon, they will have to fight out between themselves and Marco, because Marco is on themselves. He is going to be absolutely rapid on them. He's absolutely furious what has happened to him. And yeah, he's going to try and get that at least a podium, so that well, damage limitation basically in this race is going to be the key for Marco. He's going to try and do damage limitations to not lose that many points on Tsunami and Rocky, who are in P2 and P1 at the moment. Tsunami would catch up to Rocky and actually overtake him in the standings by one singular point. He would be in front because Rocky has got that fastest lap. So instead of 2 points in favor of him, there would be one singular point between Tsunami and Rocky. The gap to Marco would be a bit bigger. In like, if it would end up like that, like it's 10 points to Rocky, it would be like 22 points. Rocky not going for the overtake, but Tsunami he's trying to get the DRS for the final lap. A bit of DRS chicken there before the final lap, but is this gonna bite Tsunami's ass in the final lap? Could this been the throwaway from Tsunami on the final, well, before the final lap? The gap is 6 tenths. This is not ideal for Tsunami. Both of these are going to be using absolutely the most amount of ERS that they can on this final lap, and I'm going to be going full on these two on this final flying lap. Rocky, of course, is absolutely rapid compared to Tsunami, who's a bit slower. Tsunami, I think he threw away the chance at least for the win. He could have stayed in front there and had that win, at least try to defend it, but now he has to chase it, and chasing Rocky is absolutely no easy job. And even now, Rocky could get a DRS on the cars in front. He could get it, but is he gonna? No, I don't think he is gonna get it. But the gap is 7/10. The gap is 7/10 between Toonami and Rocky. Ain't no way Toonami is catching that. Well, that gap on this one straight. Of course, he has a little bit more ERS, but ain't no way he's catching that. To maybe 4/10, he's catching it. But that is it. He's not close enough to go for it, for any sort of overtake. Meanwhile, behind, Marco has gotten his podium back, but Rocky, Toonami tried to play DRS chicken, but he absolutely threw it away. Rocky wins the Great Britain Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Toonami P2. He could have just stayed in front of Rocky, and he would have had a way better chance of keeping that win like that, but he decided to kind of throw it away. Chasing Rocky is not easy, and Rocky showed it right then there. Marco P2, Dragon P4, and in the end, what the hell has happened to GP? Tom and Jake, I saw yellow flags through turn 6 and 7, but I was fully focused what was going on between Rocky and Toonami. What the hell has happened there between Tom and GP on that final lap? Hudson somehow has made it up to P5 out of absolutely nowhere. 1/10 in front of GP. Dragon unfortunately misses out on that podium. Marco P3, Dragon P4, Hudson P5, GP P6, Jake P7 with a broken front wing as well finishing. Tom P8, Peligua P9 with that fastest lap as well. Steps rounds out the top 10, and then it is Womax Reggie who is taking a shortcut through Stove. Wildcat tilted, and then it is Bobby, Ibrahim, and Aris DNF'd and DSQ'd. And yeah, very good race. This was the race that I expected. Reggie decided to bin it again. Has he got a puncture? No, he hasn't. I thought he had it. And again, into a wall, but decent race from him as well. But yeah, this was a race that I kind of expected from Silverstone to be. Rocky, driver of the day. Yeah, I would give driver of the day to Rocky. From P7, drop down to P9. Actually, no, he started P9, I believe. Oh yeah, almost maximum amount of points for Rocky. Yeah, P9. From P9 up to P1, definitely driver of the day from me. Rocky once again wins. This time it is in Great Britain. Toonami has to settle for second. And yeah, the gap rises from 5 points up into 18. No. 5 plus 8 is 13. So yeah, up to 13 points. Marco is gonna lose, 15 points. So that will be 25 points to Rocky. Rocky extends his championship lead. GP, decent amount of points. Dragon as well, decent amount of points. Bobby unfortunately couldn't get points after his connection issues. And so yeah, that was Great Britain Grand Prix. That was like I said, what I expected from Great Britain. That was what, yeah, I expected. Great racing, close racing, and yeah, that was really the thing that I was expecting this. Next week, like always, every other week, there is a mystery round, and so it is as well today the case. Next week is the case. Where the hell is the race still? So yeah, next week is gonna be the mystery round. Rocky, unless he's gonna get absolutely penalized for something, which I doubt that he's gonna get penalized for something, is gonna lead the championship to the next rounds. And yeah, see you next week at the mystery round, whatever it is gonna be. Monza, Monaco, whatever it is gonna be. See you next week.